Hey, how you doing there again, folks? Me again, of course, Brandon Wenzel. Come back at you, another offering off my sampler platter. Yes, indeed, folks, Sampler V series V's I've been doing for the while now. Go over there, try out food and drink items. I eat stuff, I drink stuff. Then, folks, I'm going to talk about stuff. I'm going to let you know all that you need to know about hopefully delicious stuff. That time I'm doing this, folks, I'm not going to lie. It's dark out. I apologize for the light. There's just no other way that I can make this happen. So, but we'll get into that. Folks, it's a super simple format. I'm going to go over there. I'm going to try out food and or drink items for you. Whilst I'm doing so, I'm yammering about for a bit. Whilst I'm doing all that, I'm clearly inside my truck. And whilst I'm doing all that, I'm wearing a super cool shirt. Folks, when I wear super cool shirts, I always like to highlight super cool shirt. Super cool shirt am I wearing today? Boom! It's my Stellar Circuit shirt. One of 3 that I have. Stellar Circuits, if you are not familiar, they are a band. I believe they're out of North Carolina. Sort of a progressive metalcore kind of thing going on. So they got some harsh vocals, some clean vocals. Really, really cool stuff. Very sort of like artistic and super neat. I like these guys a whole bunch. I ran into their stuff through a fucking Facebook ad several years back. And basically every time they come through the Chicago area, I try to be there so that I can go over there and, watch them perform. That's actually what I'm going to be doing in about 2 hours. If you happen to be interested at all in that whole thing, I actually have videos of previous performances of theirs that I've attended. They're on the channel. And after tonight, there's definitely going to be some more. Just saying. But anyway, what am I reviewing for you folks? What are we doing? Why is it dark? Well, it's dark because it's 5 o'clock and it's November. So then on top of that, it's like super duper overcast. So I had no chance. I actually left my house at 3 o'clock because I was like, I want to get to the venue as early as possible. Plus, since I'm going into Chicago, I want to go grab some food. So where did I grab food from, folks? What are we doing? Does it actually have a thing? No, their bag is just generic, so that doesn't matter. Folks, we're reviewing. Boom! It's this thing. It's in a bag. It's a little pie. Ha 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 ha. Can we get a thing? Ha 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 ha. What is this, folks? This is the classic mince pie from, and I have to look it up because there's no way I'll be able to put it. Okay, so it's Barangaroos. Barangaroos, or Barangaroos. Barangaroos, that's how I'm going with it. Barangaroos Aussie pies. It's an Australian meat pie. I actually ran into this place like a year ago. I was out in Chicago for another show, as I've been known to do, and I was walking around, and I happened, because there's actually a few locations in Chicago, as it turns out. I ran into one of them on my way back from the venue, and they were closed up by that point. I couldn't get anything, but I made a mental note. I'm like, I want to know what an Australian pie is all about, right? So, here we is. As it turned out, one of their locations was very close to the venue that I'm going to be attending my thing. So I was all like, fuck it, man, let's make it happen. I'll just leave early. So it's probably not going to be quite as spectacular as it could have been, just because I did have to drive from the place where I got it back towards the venue. So, and it took a little bit because Chicago traffic, but let's give it a go. And their classic mince consists of finely minced Angus ground beef in rich and thick homemade gravy. And it cost me $8.95. Here we go. And for all intents and purposes, it basically just sounds like kind of a pot pie. Just a little bit different. I'm down with that. I know meat pies in England and stuff like that are super big. Over here in the United States, like I said, we got pot pies. That's about it, really. They're not super prevalent. They're not like a eat with your hands food. Pastry is really good. The outermost walls of the pastry are definitely properly thick, which does mean you're eating a lot of pastry at first, but as this is meant to be eaten with your hands, I fully understand the reasoning. The other thing is, it is absolutely fucking packed to the goddamn brim with meat. So there we go. We're good times. I'm liking this. And the pastry itself tastes really good. Like it's a very nice pastry. I like it. It's flavorful, nice and crumbly, you know, but firm in the areas where it needs to be. It's good. I like it. As for the filling itself, it's really good. Really flavorful. Really flavorful. I guess I was expecting, because again, I'm thinking more pot pie, and I should have taken the actual title of it because it's called Classic Minced. I was thinking it'd be more like, you know, chunks of like steak, but it's, you know, minced. Not that that's a bad thing or anything, it's just, you know, perception versus reality. But no, it's really good. It's a little bit hard to manage as a hand thing, but man, that's good. The only thing that kind of works against a little bit with the mince is that because it's in there with the gravy, you don't really, like the gravy and the mince sort of mixed together, it becomes almost like a meat sauce. And so you don't get like a bold steak flavor so much as you get like a strong, like overall meat and gravy flavor, which isn't a bad thing, but it's just, you know, again, perception versus reality. It's really good though. It's very meaty. The gravy is really thick, really flavorful. One nice thing, that's good gravy. One nice thing about doing these reviews in Chicago is normally I live out in the suburbs, so typically I have to like try to sequester myself away so that people won't bother me, like when I'm doing reviews in my truck. In Chicago, people don't give a shit. They're walking right by me like, what the fuck ever. This is really good. It's one of those things where, like, yeah, it's kind of along the lines of a pot pie, but obviously it's different. And it's really tasty. Like, now here's the thing. I don't know how well it would do as a straight up hand food in just, like, normal situations, because it is one of those things, like, you know, it's a little bit unwieldy because there's so much filling inside. You know, every time I bite in, I'm kind of trying to position it a little bit, you know, so that I don't end up spilling it all over myself. But, now I will say this about that. The gravy and stuff is keeping it in there. Like, it's not trying to spill out, but I'm just making sure, you know, I'm not taking any chances. It is super good, though. And even though it is familiar with something that I've, you know, had many times over, again, with the pot pie, it's such a unique take on it. Like, it's a very different version of it. But, man, is it good. It's rich, it's meaty, it's super tasty. I'm 100% down with this. Let's, put it back and hopefully not go over there and tip it all over. Like, I guess, honestly, probably the closest thing I could think of versus a pot pie would be almost like a pizza puff from, you know, which is a beloved piece of Chicago cuisine. Because, like, that's all basically just pastry and meat. But that's really good, though, man. I'm glad I have another one to try, so there you go. Incentive to watch the next one. 2 questions have to be asked, though. Would I get it again? Would I recommend it? Yes and yes, 100%. This makes me sad that we don't have one of these closer to me. Because the thing is, I know that this isn't going to be a place that I'm going to stop off real regularly, but not because I don't like it, it's just I don't like having to fight Chicago traffic. Like, even though it's not too bad of a drive, it's going to probably be over an hour for me to get to this place. Yeah. The other thing that it runs into a little bit of an issue with, and I say little, and I mean that, is that it's around so many other places that I really like to eat. Like, that area is loaded up with fucking, like, super good restaurants. So, but that said, this does distinguish itself. This is a unique thing that's really tasty and really good, so I would absolutely get it again. It'll probably be more of a thing, again, you know, if I'm out this way going to a show, maybe I'll stop in and get one. Now, all that said, if I would recommend it, I think absolutely. I think this is one of those things where, like, there's a novelty aspect of it because it's an Aussie pie, it's a whole thing. But again, fundamentally, it's not, like, super off from things that here in America we're already pretty, familiar with. But it's just doing its own unique version on it, and it's really tasty and good. So I don't think that anybody would have any real issue going over there and trying this out for the first time. Anyway, 5 things before I get out of here. Have yourself a great rest of your day, spectacular rest of the week, monumental rest of the month, Spanish rest of your folks. You go over there, have yourselves a truly Australian-tastic rest of your life, I guess, man. Good for Australia. I've never been to Australia. I most likely will never go to Australia. Nothing against you, Australia. It's just, just not part of my immediate plans. But, we'll see what happens. Final 2 things. Number 1, try to bring some positivity in the world. It's not always possible. It is, however, always appreciated. But what you do if you can't do all the time, I know I can't do all the time. Because you can do, folks, you're going to try not to be an asshole. Folks, it's not always the easiest thing in the world to not be an asshole. Trust me, I know it. I live it. I'm out there with you in it. It's rough, man. I was over here, like I said, I'm driving into Chicago. I do not like driving into Chicago. I do it a handful of times a year, and I've had, over the years, to force myself to do it. Because I used to just commute in all the time, just take the train. But sometimes it's just too inconvenient. It just doesn't make sense. And, the last, few years, I just started challenging myself to go out and do it more. And, now I'm relatively comfortable in most areas. I just don't like dealing with traffic, and, Chicago's, it's not super bad in most areas, but it's, one-way traffic and this, that, and the other. I get anxious. Anyway, take a step back, try to mitigate the level of assholishness in our lives, hopefully do better for ourselves and for those around us. Very final thing, folks, do the thing. Whatever the thing is for you, that's what I want you to go out and do. Folks, maybe you're going to go over there. Maybe there's some sort of delicious Australian food thing that I'm not aware of that you could go over there and let me know about. You can go over there and hit me up in the comments and be like, Brandon, koala burger. I'll be like, I don't know that I want to eat a koala. Koalas are adorable. But then I, have a whole a conflict of conscience because it's well, to be fair, cows are adorable. Most animals are cute in their own way, and even if they're not cute, they're like living things, and then it's a whole thing, and it's... But you can still comment, and I can see what's going on with it. Anyway, bye!